What is your name? My name is Imhotep. And why did you murder over 100 of my people? Because your people murdered my wife. Your wife was insane. She went around spreading lies about resurrection and immortality. What we did was a mercy killing. You should be thanking us. Your wife is no longer in pain. No longer is she mad. She was not insane. She was the only one in Egypt who was sane. The only one who knew the truth. Resurrections, they do exist. And one day, me and my wife will be reunited on this earth. I see you're just as mad as your wife. Thank you for making this easier on me.
I am speaking to you from the Cabinet Room at 10 Downing Street. This morning, the British ambassador in Berlin handed the German government a final note stating that unless we heard from them by 11 o'clock, that they were prepared at once to withdraw their troops from Poland, a state of war would exist between us. I have to tell you now that no such undertaking has been received, and that consequently this country is at war with Germany.
Despite being caught in the middle of a brutal war, we have made an amazing discovery. The body of the ancient Egyptian murderer known as Imhotep. Just a few hours after the discovery, the body was purchased by the ruler of Transylvania, Vladimir Dracula, and his wife Lucy. And the body shall be displayed in the Natural History Museum, also purchased by the Transylvanian couple. We caught up with them for a word on the situation. This war has affected the entire world. So, we seek to remind people of history. Madmen like these come and go. Imhotep was a prime example. A man who in ancient Egyptian times was responsible for the deaths of over 100 people before ultimately his own death. So, given that now we are dealing with a man who is also responsible for the deaths of hundreds, hell, thousands now, we seek to remind the world that dictators and madmen come and go. The body shall be displayed for all to see in my private collection, which is also being displayed in the museum. Thank you for having us. Now, if you'll excuse us, we're very busy. Now this piece is very important to me, so whatever you do, do not touch it. If you do, I will not be very forgiving. I will be back tomorrow. If you have touched it, pray I do not find out. Yeah, I get it. You're rich and creepy. Can you let me do my job? Very well. I shall see you tomorrow. Hopefully. Interesting. You don't see very many murders like this. No sign of a blade or any form of weapon. No sign that a weapon was even used. No sign of forced entry, so the killer must have already been inside the building. Only two things stolen: a scroll and Imhotep's body. I gotta tell you, Mrs. Dracula, this is a very interesting case. Yeah, this is very interesting. Officer, I hope you're going to do everything in your power to catch this lowlife and return Mr. Dracula's property. He doesn't really like theft that much. Huh. That's rather interesting that the theft is his main priority. So, your husband doesn't really care that one of his maids was mysteriously murdered on his property. Oh, is that how it came across? I apologize. Of course he does. My husband greatly values human life. It's just, you know how billionaires are. He paid a decent amount of money for Imhotep's body, and he hasn't even owned it for 24 hours, and it's already stolen. Billionaires don't really like to waste money. They're not as cheap as the public thinks. They don't just throw their money around, and if something gets stolen, they think, oh well, I can just buy another one. At least, not my husband. He plays his cards rather close to his chest, and he doesn't really like his property stolen. But that doesn't mean he undervalues the murder here. I hope you understand that. Of course. My apologies, Mrs. Dracula. We will do everything in our power to catch this killer and return your husband's property. Thank you. Now, unfortunately, that's all the evidence I can provide. Me and my husband, we're leaving for the airport. I hope I've been of help, officer. So, the police are going to deal with it for us. Yeah, but it almost felt like she suspected something. The way she looked at me, it was weird. Like she knew something. That's just part of being a vampire, my dear. They all look at you like that. It doesn't matter if she suspects something or not. All that matters is they're going to find the bastard that did this, and when we return, we will kill him, and they will suspect nothing. Well, I assume that you're Count Dracula. Gotta say, I thought you'd be taller. What do you want? You murdered my wife, you son of a bitch. You know, for a world leader, a billionaire, and a vampire, you're a pretty bad liar. We both know you care nothing for that woman. All you care about is your mission to protect the monsters. Well, I'm a monster, and yet you're sitting here calling me a son of a bitch. We both know that I'm about to do the world a favor, so I have a business proposition, one that would greatly help your empire. And what would that be? Take this plane to Egypt. I'll tell you there. And if you try anything, you join your wife. Pilot, Change of plans. We're going to Egypt. You okay? You haven't said much since you got back from the museum. I don't know. It's just... the way that Dracula's wife talked, it was... off-putting. Like... she knew something like this was going to happen. Almost like... she didn't give a shit about that maid. Can we keep an eye on them? They said they were leaving for the airport, but... I don't know. I have a feeling that the Draculas are more involved in this than they let on. That was actually what I was coming here to talk to you about. It's about Dracula's plane. They'd already left for the airport, and they reported that they were going for Transylvania, but given that they're currently involved in a crime, we decided to track the plane. They're going to Egypt, not Transylvania. They lied about where they're going. What's the quickest plane to Egypt? Why? Why here? This is... nowhere. Just 4 stone walls, telling old fairy tales. What does this building mean to you? This was the place I sat when I felt my own heart stop beating and was condemned to be this monster. But enough about me. On to the deal. Dracula, you became a powerful world leader, the ruler of Transylvania, a rich man in politics. But you died a poor man, a parentless nobody. Only companion was your mother, and yet she still couldn't save herself, despite being one of the most powerful witches of all time. You still had all her dark magic teachings, but you were power hungry, and you sold your soul. Sold your soul to the devil, and turned yourself into a monster. Why? Why would you willingly condemn yourself to this? I sold my soul because my mission was my mother's. Yes, she was the most powerful witch of all time, but she wanted to protect the weaker witches, and when monsters were discovered, she knew that witches would be considered monsters, and because monsters were also being hunted, she wanted to protect them all. And she told me that when she died, it would be my mission. She taught me all the dark magic she knew, meaning that when she died, I became the most powerful dark magic user of all time. But then I died, and the devil walked up to me in the afterlife and gave me a choice. Become the first vampire, or rot for eternity and let all monsters die. I chose to become the first vampire. So, enough of that story. What do you want from me? What is your deal? And why are you doing this? Similar to your mother, my wife was one in the ways of dark magic. She believed in reincarnation and cursed me to continue her mission. You see, she was labeled insane for being the only one who knew the truth, and she was killed lawfully. So, I murdered over 100 of the people of Egypt in the name of my wife. So, when I died, I was cursed to be reincarnated. However, unlike your mother, my wife was rather amateurish with dark magic. She couldn't finish the spell, but you can. Finish my wife's spell and turn me into the destroyer of Egypt. And if you don't, I will kill you the same way I did your wife. Make your choice, Dracula. What the hell? What the hell happened? What's happening? Dracula, what have you done? Dark magic may give you power, but if you threaten a dark magic user, it can also kill you.